This is the Wandering Mike.
Welcome, everyone, to the Wandering Mike. Today I'm here with Felix. Hey, Felix, how's it going?
Good, man. How you doing?
Not too bad. The people don't know that we just yelled at each other.
Yeah. I mean, it's very important for any sort of podcast, just get nice and loose and feeling good.
Exactly.
So what do you normally talk about on this thing?
Yeah, so the good thing about this thing is there is no normal. Because
Right.
everyone has their unique story. So basically, what this is, we are inherently curious about your story, whatever parts of that you want to share with us today. And then, we're just going to see where that takes us into topics that we can discover together, that we can chat about for a bit, and that hopefully, and I'm pretty sure it will be interesting to the people.
Yeah, cool. I mean, I guess I've got a bit of a story. Are you interested in finding out how I got here? Have I told you about any of that?
I don't think I know the whole story.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, no, if we can just take it from there. So, well, firstly, for the people that don't know where you're originally from and how did you get to Fremantle?
Right. Okay. So I'm from New Zealand originally. I've been living in Golden Bay, which is, well, some people call it Takaka, Abel Tasman. It's got a few names, but it's the very top of the South Island of New Zealand.
Mhm.
So it's a really nice sort of like tropical temperate, it's like there's not too much change in between seasons. A very big like summer spot. So, you get like a lot of families coming in for Christmas and that whole thing. So
Yeah.
basically, the last 3 years, I was working at a bar there, bit of like a trendy sort of, cool bar. We serve a bunch of like craft beers and
Oh, yeah.
stuff like that. So I was managing there. And then after 3 years, I was like, well, it's time to.
3 years is a long time.
It is a long time. And like, so I started there when I was like 23 and then I'm 26 and I'm leaving and I'm like, oh, yeah, all right, let's go do something new. So, I'd been saving up a bunch throughout the year. And I was just like, right, well, let's just like do some fun stuff and just be unemployed for a while.
Nice.
Which is great because,
Nice.
I've been like working. I had like a job before this one. I didn't really have a break in between. So I've just been working like pretty much 5 years nonstop without a holiday, like a big holiday. So I made this plan. My dad, he lives in Alaska half the time.
Oh, cool.
So he's got, his place in Golden Bay and then his place in Alaska. And he's been going like, yo, you got to get up to Alaska for years. And I've never really had the time or anything to do it. So I was just like, well, screw it. Let's go up to Alaska and just see what it's all about. And then kind of move on from there. So I did 2 months in Alaska hanging out with my dad in his yurt. So he's like a yurt.
Oh, like deep in the forest somewhere.
Yeah. So it's like, it's on this place called Lake Louise, which is, very remote. He's got neighbors, but like it's just this huge lake. And when I went over, it was the end of winter. So it was like completely frozen over. Everything's got like, 10 feet of snow deep. So you can ride your snow machine across this lake. And in the summertime, you have to go by boat because it will melt.
Right.
So it's like you have to have a boat and a snow machine. But I went and hung out at this remote lake and it's just insane up there, man. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to that sort of like area of the world before.
So I've been to North America, been to almost every state in the United States except Alaska.
Right.
And I've been to British Columbia though, but Vancouver pretty much is the northest there as well. So
right.
I would love to see Alaska. My parents actually, they've been. So I think they've been 5 or so years ago. They went up there and they also loved it. They did Fairbanks and then they went up to like almost to polar. Is it polar light?
Oh, the Arctic Circle, Northern Lights.
The Northern Lights. Yeah, that's what they're called. Because in German they're called polar.
Right.
That's right.
You can see them in Norway, right?
Yes.
It's those.
Because Norway also goes like all the way up.
Right.
It's like a long, because the part of Norway that's close to Germany is like here, and then it goes all the way up. That's where the actual Arctic Circle is.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, Norway and I think Finland is the countries where people go to in Europe to see the Arctic Circle.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty dope. It's like, kind of like a weird, like there's like quiet and then there's Alaska quiet. Like you go outside and there's like no wind, no animals, no birds, no people, no cars. It's just like complete silence. So if you're sitting up on, the deck on the yurt and there's someone like a kilometer away on the lake, if they're talking at the volume that we're talking at now, you can fully hear what they're saying. It's crazy.
Wow,
because there's just literally no noise saturation and it just travels.
That's so interesting to think about.
So my dad would just be like talking to like a neighbor on the lake or something, and I could just sit out there and just hear their full conversation.
Wow.
Yeah. It's pretty nuts.
It's insane to imagine, actually.
But yeah, I mean, it's like it's such a different lifestyle up there. Like, you actually have to think about your survival quite a lot.
Yeah.
Because it gets to like minus 40 degrees Celsius sometimes. And so like.
So how does your dad, because I'm just like, I haven't been there. I heard the stories from my parents because they also told me some stories, especially when they were going up more north, how they just like had this one road and they were just afraid that the road's going to stop because it's got like less and less and it got gravelly and gravelier, like more and more gravel. And it's basically, there's nothing for miles and miles except this pipeline that goes next to the road. And so I have a picture from the stories they told me of a very vast and uninhabited place, but then also you have these bigger cities. So kind of what I'm wondering is, and especially for your dad, so is that a completely remote lifestyle, or is there also a town near? Is there like a supermarket near? Like how does it work for him?
Right. So there is, so the closest like sort of, I guess, like home base to his is a lodge. So there's quite a lot of lodges like around the lake. So these are kind of like, you go there and it's like a pub and they have like petrol so you can refuel your snow machine and, you can stay there if you needed to in case of emergency. So but that's not like a supermarket or anything, but that's like the closest thing. It takes like maybe 15 minutes to drive there on a snow machine going like 70 kilometers an hour. And then if you wanted to get to the nearest town, it would be probably about an hour's drive. So it's like, there's definitely more remote places you can be in Alaska for sure, but it's like, it's a bit of a mission. Like you really want to stock up before you.
You don't want to be going maybe not even every week, because an hour, it's 2 hours.
Yeah. Like what we would do is we'd just like buy like 3 weeks worth of groceries and just like massive shop and and just go through all of that. And then we were running out, just like, all right, time to go again. But you got to time it right, because when I was leaving, it was like breakup is happening. So the lake is melting. So there's a certain period of time where you can't get in and out.
Oh, shit.
So basically you have to stock up at the right time and you just have to stay there for weeks until it is fully broken up. Because if it's halfway broken up, you can't ride the snow machine across, obviously, because there's water everywhere. But you also can't kayak through because there's so much ice. So it's like that, like annoying little middle point. But it's pretty remote. So there's lots of things that you have to think about that you never would normally even consider living somewhere, a bit more normal in terms of temperature, like here,
No, that using the lake basically, or not using the lake, but being dependent on the lake as infrastructure is actually crazy. So you basically, I'm just imagining you have 2 times a year then where just for a couple of days or weeks you don't use the lake, because it's when it is starting to freeze and when it's starting to unfreeze.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Freeze up and break up.
Right.
Yeah. It's like a month total out of the year probably.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a very interesting lifestyle, but it does get like a little bit lonely. Like my dad, he's like just one of these people that's super cool with just being like by himself.
Yeah.
Like after I left, I went off to Vietnam afterwards, and he was there for a month by himself. And I was like, after the month was like pretty much done, I was like, oh, talking on a video call, how's it going up there? And he's like, oh, it's great. I love it. Like, I'm having the best time. Just by himself, just like tinkering away on his electronics and, writing songs on his guitar and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's using the solitude for creative purposes as well.
Yeah. He's a very creative guy. Like this, man. But like I feel like my dad's got this like type of intelligence that I haven't really like inherited. Like he's just, his yurt in Alaska is so impressive. Like I went there and I was just like, as soon as I got in, I was like, holy shit, this is insane. Like I could show you pictures of it, but like, it's completely off grid. So everything that you do there, it's like self-sustaining, except for like, buying food. It's like he uses the trees on his property as firewood to warm the place, and like he uses solar panels for electricity, and then he's got like a generator that's back up if you need to have like extra power to like run the oven or something. So it's like everything that he's got is like just basically this like little loop that just keeps it going. And it's like really cool to especially be out there by yourself. Like he would go out sometimes, I'd be there by myself, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm just like in the middle of the Alaskan wilderness right now, just surviving because of this yurt,
Yeah.
If you go outside for 5 minutes, you're just freezing, like just a completely different level of cold.
You said minus 40 degrees, right?
That can get to that, and especially like in deep winter, it's like, you can't go outside really. You just basically have to hunker down. Otherwise, just like because if you start moving too quickly, then you start getting sweaty, right? Because you've got all these layers on. And then if you slow down for a second, then the sweat will freeze inside your outfit. So it's like, it's kind of like a damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of thing. Like, well,
holy shit.
Yeah. You just, if you can't move fast enough. Yeah.
Yeah. I also was interested in, so your dad obviously is a bit of a crafty guy then. Getting these things. Is he outdoorsy as well? Like, is he into hunting and fishing, these sorts of things?
Not hunting and fishing, but he is very outdoorsy in that he likes to, be like outside, like hiking. Like he likes building. So in New Zealand, he's currently building a shipping container house. So yeah, he likes to be out in the wilderness doing things, but just not necessarily like hunting and fishing.
Right.
His brother really likes that, but he's like, nah, I'm not. I can't be bothered doing that. He finds it boring.
But yeah, hiking and just being in touch with nature is also very key. Like, it's apparently what they do in Alaska, but in New Zealand, it's the same thing, right? You're also very connected. Obviously, it's a bit warmer in the Abel Tasman.
Right. Yeah.
But at the end, it's a similar kind of connection to nature. Is it not, that you feel in New Zealand as well with the people and the nature?
Yeah. It's definitely like there's a big focus on trying to be as like environmentally friendly as possible. Right. And I think that's one thing that I really like about my dad's place as well, is that he's really thinking about like having as minimal impact on the environment as he can. Like he basically wants to have like a little just nook in the middle of the wilderness and just leave it as unaffected as possible. So he doesn't want to have like gates or like concrete or anything like that. It's like we're basically just like chilling out here in the wilderness. And I think, that's something I really super respect, because it is a very like, it's very doable. I think like, obviously a lot of people have restrictions in terms of like money, obviously. Like they can't afford to just go out and do all this. Like my dad, he's gotten a pretty good job in software, which also allows him to, work remotely. So he can live out in these places and just sustain himself.
For him, it's actually the perfect job to do what he enjoys doing.
Exactly. And so, obviously not everyone can do it. If they could do it, like I reckon a lot of people would really enjoy it, because there's a certain sense of satisfaction of like doing things that you normally take for granted. Like, for example, if you want to take a shower at my dad's place in Alaska, you have to, if it's summertime, you have to walk down to the lake, get a bucket, fill it up with water from the lake, bring it up, put it on the fire, heat it up with the fire, and then mix it with another bucket of cold water to get it the right temperature.
All right.
And then take the bucket down to the outside cabin, and then put it, position it, and then put like the little electronic pump in it, and then you can have the shower. So it's like, you have to do just that little bit more work for something that you take for granted. Like normally you just go and turn the shower on and
don't even think about it twice. Yeah. You probably don't even think about, oh, it's actually hot today, I'm so thankful. It's just
exactly. So
just there.
Yeah. And so like when you have that shower, and sometimes you don't get to have a shower every day, like you have to space it out and go, okay, well, I'll have a shower tomorrow, because that's just how it works basically.
Right.
So when you have that shower, you're just sitting there going, yes, I'm having a shower right now. And like, I did a little bit of work to get there, and it makes it feel a bit more satisfying.
Yes, I can definitely see that.
Yeah. So just having that sort of, I guess approach to it, like it just feels, it feels better. Yeah. So, but yeah, I feel like if other people could do that, it would be, I'm sure they would love it.
I guess it is also kind of hard to do just because of the way society is like living right now, and we are more and more urbanizing everything, and we are like the population's getting bigger. So basically, I feel like Alaska might be one of the last. I mean, like I said, New Zealand also, there is places where it's very remote as well.
Yeah.
Like
Super low population density. Yeah.
you have the same as well, but just thinking of countries like Germany, I'm thinking of like, especially in Europe where we have very tiny countries and very
Right.
compact and very populated countries. It's not that easy nowadays to actually find that spot of land and find a place where you can go back and live in that sort of way.
Right. Because there's just, there's people everywhere. I mean,
Exactly.
I don't know what the exact landmass of Germany is, but I think it's like similar in size to New Zealand. Maybe even slightly smaller. I don't know. But yeah, you guys have got like, well, we've got like 5 million. You guys have like, what, 80 million or something?
Yeah. I'm going towards 90, I think, but yeah, when I was
Yeah.
growing up, it was 80.
Yeah, that's like, well, such an insane difference. I kind of yeah, I like being around people, but like if there's too many people, it's like, ugh.
Yeah. That's why, yeah, I mean, I love New Zealand. I mean, the people on the podcast know, and they've listened to my stories from New Zealand as well. Um, I love it because of exactly that. It's like I've lived in Christchurch the majority of my time in New Zealand, and then I went to Queenstown for the last 3.5 months. So that was my whole year, was 6 or 7 months, and
Just working in Christchurch.
or 7, 8 months in Christchurch. Yeah, I was actually a funny story that ties into what you said in the beginning, because the owner of the hostel that I was managing, or I was the duty manager of, rather. Shout out Andy if he's still listening, because sometimes he listens to the podcast.
Good on him.
He also goes to Takaka every
Oh,
Christmas
nice.
and New Year's with his family. So when you said that, I was like, that
It's all connecting.
Andy's one of them. So yeah, basically I was working there in that hostel, and what I found so amazing about Christchurch is it is a city. Some backpackers said it is too calm for them. I appreciated the calmness of the city. Obviously, it also has changed after the earthquakes, but I appreciate having an actual city. And then you go outside of the city for 15, 20 minutes and you're immediately in the mountains. You're
Right.
immediately in nature. You can start a hiking track to Akarua, all these kind of things. Like, it's so close.
Yeah. No, it's very cool. I definitely appreciate that aspect about New Zealand a lot. And even like Christchurch is it's the biggest city in the South Island. Like,
Yeah,
one of the most urban areas you can get really in New Zealand.
exactly.
And like you say, there's 15 minutes away, you can just be in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, even like in Golden Bay where I was living, it was just so good, like being able to wake up and just go down to the lake and just have a swim in the lake or the river, and then you're just sitting there in nature and just, wow, this is awesome. And then you just go back home and it's like, cool. I was just in the middle of nature for like an hour or 2 hours, and it was like 5 minutes away from my house.
And that is so, and I mean, obviously, Queenstown, the exact same, because I took Christchurch as the example because it is the bigger city,
Yeah.
but I absolutely adored Queenstown as well. You have all these hiking tracks right outside. I don't know if you ever, that's actually an interesting question to ask a Kiwi, if you guys actually find the time to do these iconic tracks as well, because I did do the Milford track while I was there. I didn't have enough time for the route burn. Um, but it's it was for me just to see that there's actually so many tourists who come to hike these trails, because the hostel I was managing was also owned by the same company that does the guided walks, so that is Ultimate Hikes.
Right.
So all their guides was in our hostel, and they were sleeping there, which was also why I got to do the hike guided for a substantial rebate, like a substantial discount, which I was very thankful for. So when I saw how big of a tourist thing it is, I was at the same point wondering, well, are Kiwis still doing it as well? Like, are you still enjoying those tracks as well?
Yeah, for sure. I think not in exactly the same way that you guys are,
Yeah.
because obviously, like, we don't always need to have like a tour guide. You kind of just go out on our own sort of thing. So yeah, my dad would take me. I haven't been as much lately, but when I was younger, my dad would take me out a lot, and we would do a lot of these iconic hikes. I think the one I remember the most is doing Mount Cook,
Right.
which is awesome. But yeah, obviously there's those touristy aspects to it, but we still love to get out and do all those iconic things because it's so, well, I mean, we live here, might as well.
And in Abel Tasman, you have another one, which I didn't get to do because I didn't get to that part of the South Island. But you also have is it just called the Abel Tasman track, which is like a 5-6 day track?
I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. I think that's
like
a really
the
good track.
beaches and everything.
Yeah, it's such a good track because you can kind of just like do as much of it as you really want to. They've got lots of different stop points and really awesome little areas where if you just want to stop and go back from there, you can. You don't have to just do this insanely long 6-day trek. You could go for a day, find a really nice spot, and then go back. So it's pretty much just like the perfect track for anyone to do, really, even if you're just like a beginner, because it's not even like a hard track to walk either. It's like pretty cruisy the whole way.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's fun coming from a country, and like people are often quite excited, like when you tell them that you're from New Zealand.
Yeah.
Just being overseas and staying in, Vietnam the last month, you would tell people that you're a Kiwi, and most of the time they're reacting like, "Oh my God, I love New Zealand." And it's like, yeah, oh, cool. I'm glad you'll think so.
No, but I can definitely tell you, New Zealand is cool. I am one of those people who says, beautiful country and also beautiful people. I loved every single Kiwi I met.
Stop it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not going to tell everyone that you paid me $100 to say it.
Shut up, then. Shut up.
No, so you basically, after you said, and that's actually another interesting question, just because it touches on an aspect of that also sometimes comes up on the podcast, which is kind of these decisions to maybe go on to something that isn't very or is not completely traditional. Because as you were saying in your story, you were managing this bar 3 years, and then before you even knew that you're going to Alaska, to Vietnam, that all this was happening, you just in general said it's time for a change. So that moment of, okay, I'm just choosing to be unemployed now to enjoy my life, which obviously is a weird step for society if they hear like, oh, why is he choosing to not get paid? So I was just, wondering how that was for you. Did you struggle with that decision at all? How did you get like confident in the decision? Because I feel like that's something that people love to hear about as well.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's a good question. So yeah, I kind of just like, man, I just dropped everything pretty much. So I mean, I did have this girl that I was dating at the time. We had been dating for 2 years, and yeah, I kind of hit this point where the relationship was just like, I could tell that it was just gonna I mean, in the best way possible, like hold me down a little bit. Like it's hard to find someone that is gonna push you forward rather than tie you down. And so I got to that point and I was like, yeah, I think I just need to like just break this off and just start clearing out everything and just prepare myself to live out of a backpack, basically. So I had, the girlfriend, I had a car, I had like a place, like an apartment to myself,
right?
That my girlfriend at the time was living at, and so yeah, it was an interesting time. So the car problem, well, because I don't know if you've ever had to sell a car before, but it's it's a little bit of a pain, like having to get rid of it. But I actually ended up sorry, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here.
No, it's great. It's great. Keep going.
I crashed my car off the side of a hill.
Oh no.
So it was kind of insane. So basically, so you haven't been to Tarka, right?
No.
You didn't get there. So the way you get there is this massive hill called the Tarka Hill.
Right.
And it takes like just under an hour to get over it. And a lot of people really, really hate it because it's super windy.
Right.
There's so many turns. There's not really any railing for most of it. So it's quite dangerous. A lot of people crash on it.
Oh, shit.
And I'd driven it so many times. So me and my girlfriend at the time, we went to go see a movie. It was Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, yeah.
I really didn't like it. I went in wanting to like it really badly, and I didn't at all. And so that might have been like in my head a little bit when I was driving back. But so I was just about 10 minutes up the hill on the way home. And then I just took a corner wrong and my car slid. And then I overcorrected it and just went right off the side of the hill. And my car got caught by a bush. And I couldn't see what was down there at the time. It was just looked like pitch blackness. So for all I knew, I was just about to go barreling off a cliff, and the bush saved me. We got out with completely no injuries or anything.
That's great. That's amazing.
But yeah, it was just like, it was a bit of just a scare. It was like, holy shit. Like,
yeah,
at any second, things can just go south. And like, it took like, 2 seconds for that whole thing to happen. I just had no time to react. Yeah. And so it's like one of those things where you're getting out of the car and you're like, oh my God, I just crashed my car. Like,
yeah.
So that was a whole situation that sat on the hill for about a month while I tried to figure out what to do with it. And that was kind of, I had the plan to go overseas, but that was kind of when I was like, okay, I need to start kicking things into gear a little bit and just start rearranging some stuff. So yeah, it was definitely, looking back, it was a bit of a moment for me where I had this plan, but I was like, okay, now things just I need to sort some stuff out. And so, yeah, about a month later, I ended up breaking up with my girlfriend. And then from there, it was like, okay, well, I need to figure out what I got to do with all my stuff now, because I've got this whole place. So the next wee while was getting rid of all the stuff. And I ended up finding some great people to take over my place because they were my good friends from work. And so it was just, it's a very strange feeling getting rid of everything that you've kind of built up over several years. Yeah. And it's very comfortable. Like, the life that I had was just super cozy, except for some, occasional rough spots in my job. Like, I had everything, just the setup. I had like, car, girlfriend, like I had my own place. I had like everything I needed. I had like more than enough food. I had like a great sort of like, lounge setup. So it was very comfortable, but then it's like you get to a point of comfortable where it's like, okay, I'm just kind of like bored now because you're just doing the same thing every day. Yeah. And I think when you're doing the same thing every day, you're not really making that many memories. So it's very easy for just days and weeks and months to slip by you and you kind of go, what have I even done the last month? Like, I've just been doing the same thing.
Yeah, that's when you go, oh, time's flying by, is when you realize maybe that's not good.
Exactly.
What did I do the last 4 months?
Yeah.
It's all the same.
That's kind of how it got. And it was also the job that I had managing this bar was really, it was a good job. I really liked it. But it kind of got to a point where, I started and I became a manager, and then it was all about learning to be a manager. And I was going, okay, cool. I'm learning a bunch of new skills. Yeah. And how to deal with conflicts, how to, manage people who are working under me. And it was really good to learn. And then once I hit like a year of doing that, I thought, okay, well, I'm not really learning anything new at this point. I'm just doing my job as per usual. Yeah. Every, 6 months, we would have some crazy, awful night at Roots where I just go, oh my God, why the hell do I do this? And it sucks because most nights, it's 99% of the time, it's chill. Everyone has a good time. Yeah. And then just there's occasional nights where some awful person just comes in and just makes absolute havoc. Right. And I just have to deal with it. And it really makes you go like, man, am I getting paid enough? Like, sometimes I would have like my life in danger. Like, had a guy pull out a knife and people getting into some pretty insane fights. And so, once you get to that sort of level where people are knocking each other's teeth out and, threatening to stab each other, it's like, oh my God, okay, like
But did you have like security on site at all, or is that all on you? Like stuff
pretty
like
much
that?
all on me. So we would have security on party nights, which was we'd get DJs in and go till 2 a.m.
Right.
But these guys that like, since it's such a small town, you're kind of like shorthanded for people that you can actually find who are good at it. And so the guys that we would get for security, no, like they're good guys, and like they did their job some of the time, but quite often I would have to basically just do their job for them. And it was just a bit much having to be managing and security at the same time. It's just a bit disappointing to see that like someone is kicking off, making a whole bunch of trouble, and the security guy's just standing there just doing nothing, and I have to come and be the one to take him away. It's like,
Yeah.
what are you even doing?
So that's what you're here for, mate.
Exactly. So, but then, we had them on those nights, but then other nights, like the ones I'm describing, were just supposed to be like, chill, normal nights where there's not much going on.
And it's just someone comes in.
And someone comes in and they're just an absolute lunatic. And you're like, okay. So, yeah, I would have to deal with those by myself. And that was like insanely stressful. And, it's made me a little bit hesitant to, be not necessarily work in bars, but be a manager again, just because I don't like that kind of stuff happens. Like, yeah, all right. But having to be just the sole person to deal with it, I don't want that, especially because there's so much riding on you already as a manager. Like if something goes wrong at the venue or whatever, then it's basically just all on your shoulders. There's the risk of like $10,000 fines.
Yeah, the responsibility of it, because if you're a bartender, it'd be like, it's still not a pleasant situation, but it's like, yeah, I'm just working here, I'm just
exactly
bartender.
Like you can alert people about it and you can be in the situation, but it's not up to you to deal with it. And also, I'm coming over here and I was on 27 an hour as a manager, and then like I did like I interviewed for the job yesterday that I told you about. And they're gonna have me on tomorrow and Friday and Saturday, and then that all chill, and I'll be starting from Monday, I think. But they're starting me on like $32 an hour, and then like weekend rates go even higher than that. I'm like, oh my God, hospitality rates in New Zealand are just like abysmal compared to what you get.
That's what I get at the bar, 32 for dishwashing.
Yeah. And it's like, man. And I was getting 27 an hour to be managing this bar and having to deal with people's shit like that. It's like, so there was a little bit of that, looping it back around, that was making me go, okay, well, I need to, start making a change. I can't do this forever, especially in this town. It's a small town, and like, there's lots of stuff I loved about it. But yeah, it does come to a point where you're like, okay, I do feel like I'm just sort of like blocked off from the world, just because, that hill I was talking about, it basically just acts like a wall between Takaka and the rest of New Zealand. So, you get all kinds of weird special characters that come through this town. It's sort of like a town for lost souls a little bit. You just get all kinds of weirdos, and it kind of just makes you go, man, I haven't even been paying attention to what's been happening in the rest of the country because I'm just cruising around in La La Land to Takaka. Yeah.
Actually, I have one story to share about Takaka because I have never been there. I have actually been invited to go by a guy that has been on the podcast. So if people are interested, it's, I think, episode might be 2 or 3. His name is Kevin Moran, or Moran? Kevin Moran. I don't want to mispronounce his name.
Well, you said both of them, so at least one of them should be right.
One of them is correct, I'm sure. And he was staying in my hostel in Christchurch, and he is born and raised in Christchurch, but he lived in Takaka for a long time, and he is a poet and writes books. And that's why I did the podcast with him, because he told me about it. I read one of his books, and we did a podcast on the book. It was quite nice. And he basically, what he did is he lived with a lot of expats and backpackers that were, don't know what the time was, I think maybe 5 or 10 years ago, were living in like a freedom park that existed in Takaka, and it used to be like this hippie tribe.
Oh, was it like on the river?
Yeah, the River Tribe. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he was his.
How long ago was this?
I'm not completely sure. I I remember him saying it was 5 or 10, something like that, years ago.
Yeah,
where he was there, and
I remember. I think I went because I went to Taka a few times before I lived there because my dad lives there. So I'd go for summer. And I remember going. I think it was like 2018 or 2019, and the River Tribe was still there.
Oh yeah.
But I think they got kicked out.
Yeah, that's what. He might actually been there at the time where they were kicked out. Now that I think about it, because his book also covered that. I
Right.
think he did spend 2 or 3 years even with them. I might get that wrong now. It might just have been a summer. But
Yeah.
anyway, if you're interested, anyone listen to the episode. But that's why I heard some stories about Takaka, and we were talking about how it is a hotspot, like with that going on, because he was saying how it was also kind of then these people against the locals, and how it's kind of a little bit of a conflict and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
There's definitely two sorts of groups in Taka, or two main groups at least. There's like the hippie people that come in, and there's also like farmers.
Right.
So it's just like hippies and farmers that are just like doing their own thing. So it's a bit of a mixed vibe sometimes.
Correct.
But yeah, it is very interesting that you've had someone else on this podcast
Yeah.
about Taka.
No, I just remembered that I should tell you that.
Yeah, it's not even a big place at all. So it's funny that it's not even the first time that it's been brought up. Yeah, but yeah, we're talking about. Did you still want to know more about that question with like moving away and like getting rid of everything?
I mean, I guess the question was it a big thing in your head though? Because we were talking about a lot of things, like the material things, like the things you had to do, the
Right.
struggles. But was it ever like, was it for you? Was it actually you got up one day and you're like, fuck it? Or was it like should I? Is it the right decision?
Yeah, okay, I get what you mean. It was definitely there was a bit of a barrier to push through for sure. There's sort of that level where it's like you think about it and you're like, oh shit, like I'm kind of taking a bit of a risk here because if you have all these things going for you and then you just throw it out the window, it's like there is that part of your head that goes like, oh man, like what if it goes wrong? What if I ran out of money or like got stuck somewhere? But there was also this like other part of my head that was just like I knew that I had to do it, and so this part would overpower just being like, you have to do it. If you don't do it, then you're just going to regret it, and you can't always play things super safe. If you don't take any sort of risk whatsoever, then you don't get payoff. Like you'll get a small payoff if you play things safe, but if you take a big risk, it can just turn out way better than you thought. And so yeah, there would be times where I would doubt and be like, oh shit. But yeah, it's definitely just you can't second guess yourself too much because you only really got one shot. Like I'm 27, and so like I still don't have any huge responsibilities. I don't have kids. I don't have pets. I don't have like a relative that I have to take care of. I'm free as anything, so
you might as
I might as well take advantage of this opportunity while I got it, and just avoid having a midlife crisis as much as possible.
Yeah, no, for sure,
and it's 100% paid off. And there is another risk that I took recently that you might be interested to hear about. It's to do with me and Zoe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know that we're boyfriend and girlfriend, right? You met her?
No, I thought it was purely platonic. Two mates playing.
Oh, right. Two like wow.
But did you remember that one?
Do you remember how we were like sleeping in the same bed together? So yeah.
No, of course.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, before I left Golden Bay, me and Zoe, we've known each other for the last basically since I moved to Taka, so like 3 years.
Right.
And first couple months we were there, we sort of knew that we liked each other, and we had one night where we sort of hung out and at a festival, and it was really nice. And after that, I think like a couple of weeks after that, she went overseas and was doing her own thing.
Oh, right.
So it was kind of like, oh, I really like her.
Where'd she go?
She went, if it was in 2022, I think she went home to Israel.
All right.
So she went and like spent a bunch of time with her family. I think she went to a couple other places in Europe, but I think Israel was the one she spent the most time in, if I'm remembering correctly. So she went off and did that for a while. And so she would come back every, 6 months to a year or so, and she would work at Golden Bay with someone. So we wouldn't see each other all like very often, but when we did, it was still like whenever I'd see her, we'd still have that kind of connection.
Right.
And, I really liked it when I first met her. And then, whenever I'd see her, I'd be like, oh man, I mean, I still really like you, like it never kind of really fully went away. And then after this most recent breakup, I think it was like, so that was in September, and then December, she came back from another trip. She was in Australia for a while at Byron Bay, and then she came back for the summer, and when she was back, I was like, well, hey, like, you want to hang out? And so, we ended up spending a bit of time together, and then there was a few complications here and there, but during the last week before I left, when things really kind of kicked into full gear, and it was kind of like, oh shit, like I really, really like you a lot, but also I'm leaving in a week, going overseas. And so we just kept in contact, like talking to each other while I was away. And it was like, great, but also like hard, just having someone that you like and care about so much, but you can't spend any time with them. And we established like, okay, this isn't like a long distance relationship. Like there's no pressure or anything. We're just talking because we want to talk and be like, that's spending time with each other.
Good way of looking at it.
Yeah. And I think it sort of, it turned into a long distance relationship just by itself.
Right.
Because we just,
you like to talk to each other.
Yeah, we like each other so much. And it was just like, I didn't want to see anyone else. I didn't want to talk to anyone else. I wanted to be with Zoe.
Yeah.
And she felt the same way, because we've talked about this obviously. But there was a point where about a month, and so when I got to Alaska, I think it was like maybe 2 weeks after I got to Alaska, she sort of told me about what her plans were, and it sort of dawned on me like, oh my God, like I sort of had in my head this whole time that we were going to see each other again at some point, but based on what you're telling me,
like it's going to be soon.
It's not going to be soon. It's not going to be soon. It's going to be like maybe never. And so that was kind of a point where I was really upset, and I was like, man, like I don't know what to do. Like she's going to Perth, and I could go to Perth, but I don't know what I would go to Perth for. And so I was kind of like tossing up in my head, like, would that be kind of crazy to just go to Perth to see Zoe? And I got up the next, I sort of slept on it, and we had this, this hard talk, and then I slept on it the next day. And then when I woke up, I was just like in shambles, and my dad saw me, and he was like, "What's like, are you good?" And I was just like, "No, I'm not good. Like, I'm really upset because I feel like I'm never going to see Zoe again." And I kind of described to him the situation, and he just made it so clear for me, and it was really great, because I just talked to him, and he was like, well, yeah, it's a risk, but if you feel like that you want to do it, then you might as well do it. And I was like, you're so right. Yeah. Like, I don't know why I questioned it. So I just decided that, hey, like, would you want me to come to Perth? And it was like, yes. And there was
kudos to your dad for saying that.
Yeah, I honestly, that's something I've really respected about my dad quite a lot, is that he's always been one to advocate for me taking my own path, and not just kind of trying to, rigid me into, you could easily just be like, oh, you need to become a doctor or whatever. But he's been down that path. He became a dentist, and he hated it.
Right.
And so, yeah, he doesn't want that for us, which is really great. So there was a moment where I was like, man, thanks, Dad. Like you really pulled it in for me. And so I talked to Zoe, and I was like, hey, like, how would you feel about me coming and meeting you in Perth? And she obviously wanted me to a lot, but there was also a lot of questions, because she felt quite a lot of pressure, being, me coming all this way for her. And then, if things didn't work out, then, I might get like, annoyed, because it's like, oh, I came all this way for you, and, things didn't work out. But I kind of, another thing, okay, my dad comes back into this again. So he's had this thing with his partner where, when he described the start of their relationship to me, and something that he really appreciated was, there was never, with him and his partner, like a point where They were like, okay, we've got like all these plans and we're going to be together for this amount of time. We're going to do this and this and this. It was always just, let's do this for now.
Right.
So, we want to go on this trip. Let's just see what happens. And so that kind of mindset was also really helpful for me, because I was thinking like, okay, well, what happens after Perth? Like, what are we going to do after this? And then I was like, screw it. I'm just going to go there and just see what happens for now.
Yeah.
And then if things work out, they work out. And so that really helped me push through as well. And so once we've sort of been through, how I'm just like, well, I'm not going to hold anything against you if I get here and things don't work out. I'm coming here because I want to come here. This is probably my best option. It was. I saved like $1,000 by coming here instead of going back to New Zealand.
Oh, true.
And it's just like a new place, a new opportunity. And I was just like, even if things went completely disastrous for us, and it was like, we get here and we get together and it just goes to absolute shit. It's like, fine. I will be okay. And I'm not going to blame you if things don't go right, because that's not up to you. And so, pardon me. So once we got to that stage, it was kind of just like, okay, well, now I just can't wait to see you. So there was like a very long period of just like, oh man, I wish you were here next to me. Like, God, this is, really hard. And now we're in Perth and we're seeing each other. And you saw us when we were first reunited, and just like attached at the hip, basically. And things have just been getting better and better and better. So
it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy. And I took a big risk by coming here. And now just like the fact that I've got this job now, and I'm going to be having money, I'm going to be able to stay here and be with Zoe. It's just like, it's all worked out as good as I could have imagined. And it's all because I took a big risk.
I love that story. I love that story. I'm all for taking risks.
Yeah.
Calculated risks. I'm the one who I probably wouldn't take a
risks within reason.
For me, I feel like they have to make sense. I'm not going to be like completely whatever. But no, I'm definitely on the side that if you don't know 100% what will happen, like, it's going to be for the better. Like,
right.
It's not going to be negative. It's going to be.
At the very least, you're going to get an interesting or memorable experience out of it. Yeah. I think the level of risk is like, if the level of risk that you're taking, if the very worst outcome is that you have to get someone to bail you out and you go back home or whatever, then it's like, why not take a risk? Like, I'm lucky that, I could just ask one of my parents or my friends and just be like, hey, like, I need a couple $100 for a ticket home. If I was completely screwed, I could do that, and I could go live at my mum's house if I had to. That would be worst case scenario, which is not terrible. I wouldn't want to do that at all, but like, that's just like,
that there is a safety net.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I'm very grateful for, is that there's definitely a lot of people that don't have a safety net, like, especially, people that might not necessarily have a good relationship with their parents, or they don't have any parents or friends that they can rely on. It's a very privileged position, I think, to be in, to be able to take risks with your life in that way. And just know that you have people there to back you up, because not everyone does. So yeah, I'm pretty grateful for that.
So nice. Before you offer up that story anyway, I was kind of trying to see how the whole trip fits together. So now we know that part, how you actually got to Perth. So how does Vietnam fit in that picture? Because you said originally you wanted to see your dad up in Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
So then afterwards you went to Vietnam.
Yeah. So the idea with Vietnam was, because I haven't done a whole lot of solo traveling. I've done a good amount of traveling, but it's always been like, when I was younger, I went and lived in Canada for a while with my parents. And like, I went to Fiji with my dad, and then I went to Europe with my mom and my sister. And it was great. And those are all super fun. But I wanted to get like a solo travel experience where I have to think on my feet and adapt and, basically just fend for myself. And so I've always wanted to visit an Asian country. And Vietnam was just a really good choice, I think, because, it's cheap. It's very tourist friendly. They've kind of got a lot of infrastructure specifically built for tourists so that you can get around
Right.
easily, as opposed to, I mean, New Zealand is a great place to go for tourism, but it doesn't have nearly the same sort of facilities that Vietnam does. And so it's really, really great to get around there. And so, yeah, I just wanted to have a month where I was just in somewhere completely new and just like, all right, let's just see what happens. So yeah, I wanted to add that portion of my trip just because, you know, I'd spent 2 months with my dad and it was like the best. And I'm already getting nostalgic for Alaska, even just like 2 months later. But yeah, you definitely need to have a bit of experience by yourself as well, which I think is something that I really thrive in, because if I have someone else there that I know, I tend to, especially if they know what they're doing and I don't so much, I tend to take a bit more of a backseat, sort of let them lead the charge on things. But if I'm just left by myself, then I find myself being a lot more creative and adaptable and having, a lot of new things happen that I wouldn't normally, you know, go out for or get into. So yeah, it was a super fun month. And it was a little bit agonizing because I was, you know, spending the whole month going, oh my God, like I just want to see Zoe so badly. But I was also like really trying to enjoy my time while I was there.
Vietnam,
So I had to kind of like put those two things separate for a second, just be like, all right, I'm going to see Zoe. It's going to be a little bit longer, but for now, I'm just going to enjoy being an unemployed bum in a hostel in Hoi An and just like spending my days sitting by the pool, drinking beer at the bar and
the 50-cent beers.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's pretty great when you're just, you know, in this hostel that's like $6 a night, which is basically a resort. And the question is like, am I going to go and spend my day sipping drinks by the pool or by the beach? Or, it's like, one thing that's really cool about Vietnam, I don't know, have you driven in Southeast Asia before, or Vietnam or Thailand?
Yes, I've been to Thailand. I've lived in Indonesia. And I've driven scooters in Thailand, and I've also driven a car in Indonesia.
I find driving a scooter in Vietnam to be so fun.
Fun?
Oh, yeah.
I expect the word fun.
Oh, it's so fun. I honestly, if they made those the driving rules in New Zealand, I would just be stoked. I would be like, yes. Like, it's great because there's so much traffic.
Yeah.
There's heaps of people, but you're never really stuck in traffic for any amount of time because everyone is just kind of wedging their way through. And so if you just have the assertiveness to just be like, all right, I'm just going to like go around on the wrong side of the road, and like scoot around here and just go around here. And then boom, I'm out the other side. If you just had that sort of like slightly assertive driving style, you can just get through super easy breezy. And like, you know, you could be like at an intersection stop. Like there's sometimes traffic lights, but like if I wanted to turn right, which you can do on a red light, and there's like a bunch of people on scooters on the right side blocking the path, and I want to go, I can just go, okay, well, there's a car here. I'm just going to go around this car on the left on the wrong side and then just go around to the right. So you can just do whatever you want. Like it's literally just make your own rules.
Finding a way.
And it's so great. I love it. I was driving around a scooter for a week and I didn't want to give it back. I was like, man, I could just drive this thing every day. Like I would just go out at nighttime, just driving for fun. I didn't even have to go anywhere. I'd just be like, I just want to go for a drive because I'm bored, and I'll just go and just hoon around and just see what I find. And it's like, one interesting thing I found about traveling in Vietnam is that I feel like phones have made it way too easy to solo travel. Like it's actually kind of insane how much of a difference a phone makes.
Yes.
Because you've got just all the features that you could possibly need on there. Like you've got yeah, like you've got Google Maps, which is like, okay, so when you get out of the airport, there's like people sitting there with SIM cards and they're just like, yo, get a SIM card. And you just get unlimited data for a month for like $10.
Yeah.
And so wherever you go, you just have Google Maps. So if I want to go somewhere, I can just pop it up on Google Maps and just be like, all right, cool. I just have to go this street. And then you get there and you never get lost because you just have the directions the whole time. And I do feel a little bit bad because I'm like, wow, this is just so easy. I'm never getting lost. I know exactly where I need to go at all times, but also I have it there with me. I'd be kind of dumb not to use it. I don't know. It's like, it's a bit of a tricky one.
Yeah. I have a story about that as well, because when I went to Thailand, which I realize now that I've spoken with a lot of people here in this hostel, especially coming from Thailand as well, that it's changed a lot. Like I've been there 8 years ago, 9 years ago.
And it's
So
changed a lot since then.
and now it's become very touristy apparently because it wasn't like it was starting to become touristy when I went there, but it was still like a very like not secretive, but it wasn't that touristy, and especially a place up in northern Thailand called Pai, which I loved, and that wasn't even on the map when I was there. The only reason we found out is because we talked to a guy who said he knows someone who drives a bus up there the next morning, and if we give him like $10, $20, whatever he asked for in baht, he'll take us up there.
It's all those side quests that what exactly the random talking to some guy who knows a guy that ends up in this crazy place that you never would have even dreamed of being in.
It's crazy how that works out.
Yeah.
It is crazy.
Well, that's what I mean with the phone thing. It's like you can miss out on those sorts of experiences sometimes if you just have your phone with you all the time and you're using it to get around.
Because the first time we went there and we drove up there and just then explored what was around that town, because Pai, it's like this small town in the middle of the jungle. So you go from Chiang Mai, just a bigger city, go into the mountains, and then there is Pai. And so I've been there with a friend and we discovered it, and we didn't have data that time. So we just discovered the town, and I came back 3 or 4 months later with another friend because I told him about it. And I was like, we need to do this. And when we arrived at the airport, probably 4 months ago, we could have also gotten a SIM card, but we just didn't. But he saw SIM cards and he was like, oh, but I need to get a SIM card because I need to keep in touch with my girlfriend. And like, it makes sense. So he gets a SIM card. So I'm like, wow, might as well. And it was so different because you're not exploring. You're just on Google Maps and you're basically exploring on Google Maps.
Right.
So you're like, oh, so this place we could go. And then you go and it is so different. It's so different.
It is very different. It's like, yeah, you just go, I want to go to the beach, and you just type up beach, and there's just like, oh, look, here's all the beaches around, and you just choose the one that looks the nicest. And like my scooter even had like a little like thing that you could hold your phone in.
Oh yeah.
So you could just have your maps up while you're driving around, and just in real time it's updating, telling you exactly where you need to go. And I still saw some awesome, cool things.
Yeah.
And even, found out about some things just from talking to people and, figuring out what was around. So, you still get those, but just, I would say not to the same extent. It sort of neuters it a little bit. And there's not that feeling of urgency, I guess. Like there's sort of a unique sense of like, I don't know, it's almost adrenaline when you're in like a tight situation and you're a bit out of your depth and you have to use your wits to basically get out of this situation. It was like, I remember when I was 19, I had this really, really memorable night. So basically I was in Golden Bay visiting my dad with my sister, and the mission was take them to the airport with the car. They're going to go to Hawaii and Nelson, and then I'm going to drive from Nelson back to Dunedin with the car by myself. And I drop them off at the airport, and then I start driving. I get about half an hour out of Nelson, and then I'm like, oh shit, where is my FPOS card or my, my debit card?
Yeah.
And I just couldn't find it anywhere. And I was like, oh shit, like I can't keep driving because I'm going to run out of petrol. I'm going to need to pay for petrol. I could have done okay with, food. I would have been fine, but I didn't have enough to get me nearly far enough because it's like a 12-hour drive.
Right.
So I was really, really pissed. And so I had to turn around and find a spot in Nelson to sleep.
Yeah.
And so I just parked up by this local park. It had like a little bathroom. I made like a bed in the back of my car, found a McDonald's nearby that I could use their Wi-Fi. And I just basically camped for a night in Nelson, just improvised because I was in this shitty situation with no money.
Right.
And I had to get to the bank the next morning, like first thing, in order to get this card so that I could be on my way. And so, I just waited outside the bank for the doors to open. Got my card and everything was fine. And I was able to continue. And I was like, man, that was just like, it was stressful at the time. And I was really, really pissed off when I realized I didn't have my card. But I'm going to remember that night forever just because it was so out of the blue and I was a bit out of my depth and I was very young and I just had to kind of think on the fly and I came out the other end fine. And I wasn't in any like massive danger, but it was a sense of urgency of, okay, well, I don't want to spend forever in Nelson. I have to get home, you know? And it was pretty easy, but it was still like very fun and sort of like a little key into sort of that sort of sense of adventure you can get when you're out there doing things by yourself.
I think that ties into what you initially talked about in Alaska as well. Is kind of just that if things are a little bit harder to achieve, they mean more. So by putting ourselves in unknown situations, that's why traveling is so rewarding. Things that back home would be so easy, they just mean more because I mean, it's not always hard. It can be easy too, but I'm just saying sometimes when you have these
just the small
situations,
satisfactions. Yeah, man, it's definitely an interesting experience, and it takes a little bit of just being willing to be slightly out of your own comfort zone because it's very easy to get cozy, and you know, I'm more than happy to just like go to work, come home, play some video games, you know, chill out and just do some exercise, and that can be my routine. But you know, it's fun and I love doing all those things, but you can't do it all the time. You have to do some new stuff.
yeah, and that's I think why I love traveling as well. I think especially in English speaking countries, I did change my opinion a little bit in my experiences in New Zealand and Australia. I think it is possible to get into a comfort zone also while you're traveling.
Right.
For me, not being from these countries, it's also you can get into a comfort zone, but I still feel like it's never gonna be the same comfort zone that you will have at home. Because even if you find things and things start happening, and you know you will have a job and you will just work and it's day to day, you're still traveling in a foreign country, so stuff will come around the corner. So you're never always in that comfort zone. That's what I love, and it will keep growing. You know?
Yeah, that is definitely in Australia. I mean, it's so similar to New Zealand in a lot of ways.
Right.
So when I came back here, it was just like, wow, I feel like I'm pretty much at home, even though I've never been to Australia before this.
Right.
But yeah, I totally get what you're saying, and it's like, yeah, it's very familiar, but I've had this, you know, looming thing the last few weeks of like, okay, I need to get a job. I'm running out of money. And I've, you know, woken up a couple times in the night at like 5 a.m. And I've had this sort of like little anxiety that just goes like, ding, 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 ding. You need to get going. You need to get going. You need to do this and get a job. And it, I don't know. It's the thought of like being like homeless has popped into my mind a couple times. Just like, what would I do if I like wasn't able to get a job at all? I completely ran out of money. Because in my mind, I'm like, I can't see myself going back home to New Zealand at all. And I'm like, I just have to make this work because I can't stop seeing Zoe. I can't, like, I don't really have anything except for my family and, you know, a few of my friends back in New Zealand, which are always going to be there. And I'll be happy to see them when I get back. But yeah, this just that little anxiety. It's annoying, but also, yeah, it makes me feel a little bit more alive. Because there's a sense of urgency to things.
Keeps you going.
Exactly. So, but I'm also like, I don't know if you feel this, but I'm like slightly delusional in the fact that like
I am very delusional.
I'm extremely delusional all the time.
In case you haven't met me, I am very
I'm delusional in the sense that I will just in my head be like, okay, well, I've got this thing going. Okay, you need to do this, but I'm also at the same time like, I'm gonna be fine. It'll all work out. Doesn't even matter what happens. I'm gonna be fine. Like something will happen and I'll be all good. And yeah, I haven't really been wrong so far. So I don't know if it's delusion or if I'm just placing faith evidence, but yeah, I always just have this little thing in my head going like, you'll be fine.
When you said delusion, that's what I thought you were playing at. That's why I immediately played on it.
Right.
But what I'm saying is I 100% agree with you. I say things will work out.
Yeah.
Everything happens for a reason. I'm here. If I put my stuff in, if I put the best in I can put in, the universe will make it work. That's what I believe. And yeah, some people want to call it delusional. I'm so okay with that.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, yeah, if you've got, you know, something to offer,
Exactly.
Like if you come here with no sort of aspiration whatsoever, and you're just kind of floating around, then obviously things are going to be harder. But if you come here with just a certain goal in mind, or something that you like need to stay here for, I think it really helps keep you like, okay, well, things have to work out, so they are going to, yeah,
Exactly.
But yeah, I feel like maybe I'm not too alone in that sort of feeling. Maybe if I ask other people as well, they'd probably say the same thing.
I can also confirm that,
Yeah,
because a lot of people have talked on air and they have said similar things.
Yeah.
So I think it is kind of a thing that binds us people, if I can say that, who like to go abroad, that are curious. It is a certain kind of people that are here traveling, that we meet in hostels. And I think this kind of thing has to be one of the things that the majority of people unite, is just that, a little bit of, it'll be okay.
Right.
Because if you don't have that, you probably be the person that, when you said you were going through that, oh yeah, what if it goes wrong? What if it goes wrong? And you just said, no, but I have to do it now. There are other people that get stuck at, what if this happens? And they're like, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
You have to have that. Don't be okay.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the next step. Obviously, it's natural to have that little voice in your head that goes, "What if something goes wrong?" Because I feel if you don't have that, then you might just be a lunatic.
Yeah, you might just die.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have to believe it just has to happen. So, yeah, it's I don't know. I've really enjoyed being in Fremantle so far. It's kind of just like, in terms of like city life, it's just a better version of cities in New Zealand, I think, at least.
I love Fremantle.
Yeah. How long have you been here for?
Think 5 months, maybe.
Okay. You're staying in this hostel the whole time?
I did.
Yeah.
So I arrived in Perth, or in Fremantle rather, sometime in March, mid March. So April, May, June, July. Okay, 4 months. Because I will also be leaving in 6 days. I will go to Bali with Kevin, and then we're gonna go to Darwin after. So,
Oh, cool.
because we have to get those 88 days done for our working holiday visa. There's specific work that we need to do in order to extend the visa for another year.
Okay.
And there's specific locations that you can only do that in, and the bigger cities aren't part of it. Like Perth, Melbourne, Sydney doesn't offer anything to extend your visa. You have to do it in remote areas.
That's
like the Northern Territory, like far north Queensland, like also parts of New South Wales, parts of South Australia, the more remote places. So they're trying to help these remote places by making that condition. So we need to be working there for 3 months in a specified field that they're also lacking workers in.
Okay.
So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working in hospitality and tourism in the Northern Territory, because that's one of the fields that specify. And that's what we're going to go for to Darwin.
Sick. I mean, it sounds really fun, because, I mean, I've just been in Fremantle this whole time, and I mean, I haven't been here for very long, but I really, really want to explore some more of Australia, because there's so much out there, and
it's huge.
Oh man, there's like different like biomes and so many animals, and so I'm a little bit jealous that you guys are getting to go up to the Northern Territory. I mean, it's gonna be hot as all hell up there, but
which I like.
Yeah,
it's my kind of weather.
Yeah,
I like.
What's your ideal temperature Celsius?
40.
Ideal. That's your
maybe
ideal
35.
Okay,
35, 40. I lived in Portugal for the last few years, and that's what our summers be looking like. There's no day that it's beyond 33. Like seriously, in July and August, there's no day that it's below 33. Except during the night when it's like 25.
Oh, absolutely. Arctic, man. That's insanely cold.
And I also studied in Indonesia for a year, where the temperatures were where it was like 40 all year round. So I am used to it. My body's kind of used to it.
Yeah,
that's why
high humidity as well in Indonesia. So there was some days in Vietnam where it was like about 40, very humid, and it was just like, it was doable, but I might have had like a bit of a dizzy spell if I hadn't had some water nearby, that I could dip into or drink or whatever. But man, 40 is like your ideal is insane, dude. I'm like 25, low humidity. That's like perfect for me. Or like 25 to like 18 degrees. That's kind of what I'm accustomed to. I guess like the south of New Zealand, where I'm from, is really cold.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of.
That's what I found out afterwards as well. I was like, oh, you made the wrong decision.
Right.
I mean, I love my time there, but I kept saying it as a joke. It's like, yeah, this is not what my ideal temperature is.
Right.
And I mean, I'm saying it now for a couple of weeks as well. This is already too cold for me. So
Yeah,
that's why I'm saying,
even
like,
in
okay,
Perth.
now I'm going up north.
Yeah, that's fair. I got here and I was like, man, this is perfect. I was like, yes, this is the best temperature. I mean, yeah, the difference, like I'm wearing a singlet and shorts right now. You're wearing a sweatshirt and pants and
long
socks.
sleeves. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's a good place to live. But yeah, I'm very jealous of you guys coming up there because it's probably going to be really fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be nice.
Yeah,
it's also a bit more of a remote place again, which I like. Like, it's not too big of a city, I don't think. So it's more like a city and outside you directly in nature again.
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be quite cool.
Yeah, that's my favorite combo as well. Yeah, well, I'm excited for you, right?
Yeah.
And so you're doing that for 3 months and then you're gonna come back here, or?
Yeah, so basically when we do get that done for the 3 months, then we get another year and
Nice.
we can basically do whatever we want. So yeah, I'm gonna see then. I would love to, I think, spend some time in Queensland as well, just because again, I like the weather and I like the beaches. So maybe when it is not rainy season there, definitely do some stints in Queensland. But yeah, technically, I'm not opposed to coming back here to Fremantle. It's a good life. But yeah, we'll see what
Can always-
opportunities there are.
Yeah.
I'm also not opposed to live in Melbourne, but only in this because of the weather reason.
Right. It gets pretty cold there as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I think it's nice to not have too much of a plan because you want to be adaptable, and if something else comes up,
Doesn't work out.
you don't want to be like, oh, I'm coming back to Fremantle after this, and then be like, well, I kind of want to go and check out some other places. So yeah, that's a good plan. I think. Yeah, it's great.
Well, Felix, man, I just looked at the time and
Hour and 12 minutes.
we did do an hour and 12 minutes already. It was such a cool episode because it didn't feel, it was so natural because you just told us your story and your story had so many interesting points where people could take stuff away from. So yeah, I really appreciate you sharing all that with us and also taking us through your personal insights, and because that's what people appreciate as well.
Cool, man. I'm glad I was able to provide some potentially interesting insights. I mean, it's been an interesting year for me.
Right.
So,
you could definitely hear that from your story.
Yeah. So
that's great.
Yeah, I'm happy that I was able to speak naturally and provide a hopefully good episode. Yeah.
Definitely. So yeah, with that, thank you again, and
you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Goodbye, everyone.